On this episode of Carnage, we're trying for a new PB with the Mazda. So, we tried to bring the VN out, but it didn't want to play when we put it on the dyno, so we left it at home. We tried to bring the trial boat, but it screwed up its crank trigger. So, we have dragged Old Faithful out of the garage, the Mazda, the Beast, the fastest car in the fleet. We brought it out to play here at Heathcote Park Raceway. It is a test and tune day before the Holden Nats. So, we were trying to get ready for the Holden Nats with the VN. That didn't work, obviously, so we're going to come out today, do some test and tune runs with the Mazda, and if we're successful with that, we may try and squeeze it into the Holden Nats as well. I know there's no Holden on this car. However, we're here, we're ready to party, we just want to go and run some numbers. So let's do that. So I've got my race pants and boots on. I'm about to get my jacket on, or get them on in the staging lanes. It's a bit warm out there, but we're about to make our first pass. So I heard a little rumour that I might be in a bit of trouble because my licence isn't in date. Car's teched, but my licence isn't in date, and they might tell me to go home if I go too far. So what I'm going to do is do some half-track passes, sort out our 60 footers, sort out our half track, make sure they're sweet, and then do a hero pass, and that'll probably get us kicked out. So anyway, let's go out and run it, and like I said, we need to get it down into the 1.3s for the 60 footer. Half tracks, we want to see 5.7s, and we'll do a couple of them, or try and do a couple of them, and then send it hard and see if we can get kicked out. Surface. So nice solid half track pass. We'll see what that comes up with, a time slip. We're looking for a good 60 footer, and we're looking for a good half track. So if we get like a 1.3 in the 60 foot and a 5.70 something in the half track, we know we're on target. See what the time card says. Let's see. All right. 570 in the 8, 576, 144 on the 60, so we've got more to make up on that 60. Let's cool it down and go again. So as promised, I decided to do an 1/8 mile pass. So now I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you. 60 foot time, I did a 1:44, which is not optimal for this car. When we did that 880 last year, we ran a 1:41, but this car has done a 1:31 in the 60 footer. So there's more time in the 60 footer and the track's there to get it. So let's get after it. Our half track time was 5:76, which is definitely an 1/8 mile time. Every time we run a 5.7, this thing is like, yeah. So 5:76 should be an 1/8 mile time. 125 mile an hour at half track, which is the fastest it's ever gone at half track. And then it rolled across the line for a 9:33 at only 113 mile an hour. Now this thing's trapping about a 160, so, you know, to run 113 tells you how much I was off the accelerator and on the brakes. So yeah, maybe we should just get out there and send it and let the chips fall where they may. If we get kicked out, we get kicked out. But that run was a good solid 29 pounds of boost. We revved it out to 7 grand or close to. Oil pressure's mint, wideband is mint, everything is good. I reckon we send it out for another run, and yeah, we're going to launch at 4,200 this time. So that launch was at 4 grand. So 4 grand launch, it needs more. Let's send it with 42 and see what happens then. Let's go have some fun. Felt solid, real solid. Whew. Go see if that was an 8-second pass and see if we get to run again. Alrighty, what do we got? Okay, I thought we'd do better than that. What the hell? So we elected to go full send and it didn't deliver. It went 914 at only 150 mile an hour. This thing usually does closer to 160 mile an hour. So yeah, a 140 60 foot wasn't too bad. That's heading the right direction, but only 587 to half track, only 120 mile an hour to half track. So power's down everywhere. So we started looking for a problem and we found it in the data log that run was only 23 pounds of boost. Now it should be 29 pounds of boost. So we started looking for why it was down so much on the boost. And we found that the line that runs to the blow-off valve had snapped off and it was leaking boost badly. So that was a good find. We fixed that. We should have full boost now. We should be able to go out and send it hard and run an 8-second time. Should be. So we've let it cool down, we've fixed the boost line, let's send it. Alright, let's see, what do we got? Really? What the actual, I don't know. We broke our boost line again. We think it might have been just a fraction too tight, and when everything sort of expands and twists a little bit, it snaps it off. So I'm going to reroute it, and hopefully this will do the trick. Well, that was disappointing. 951 at 141 mile an hour. It hasn't run that slow in a long, long time. Probably because it hasn't done a pass on 18 PSI in a long, long time. The reason it did a pass on 18 PSI is it snapped the boost line off the blow-off valve again. And we think the problem is that the boost pipe is kind of like it twists slightly when it gets filled with boost, and because the line was tight, it would twist away and snap the line. And the line's kind of brittle. So we've rerouted the line, give it lots of length, it shouldn't snap anymore, and we should get a run with full boost, hopefully. Let's go out and send it again, and this time run an 8. So this time we've got a very abbreviated time slip. It has no 60 foot or half track or 1,000 foot, anything. It says 910 at 125 mile an hour. And what happened is it broke the boost line again going to the blow-off valve. So this line is just really brittle and it breaks really easy. And of course I'm going to make a lie out of me now and not break at all. Don't know why, don't know the reason, but it just keeps blowing this line and we lose all our boost. So 910 cruising across the line at 125 when we should be 160. There's 35 mile an hour difference. Anyway, let's see if we can find some boost line off someone. All right, so we got this line from one of our fellow racers. It's not boost line, it's high pressure hydraulic line. And we'll see. I wish I had some silicone spray, I don't know that I do, but we'll see. Oh, it's the right fucking size. I just need some silicone spray to fucking lube it up. Right, so we've got our new piece of hose on there. Unfortunately, we haven't got any hose clamps to, you know, keep it. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be replacing all those lines when we get back to the workshop. But yeah, let's go out and run an 8 finally. So frustrating. Alright, let's see how he went. New PB! Fuck yes! Oh, that's awesome. 872 at 160. Let's go around and do it again. Boom, new PB, 872 at 160 mile an hour, 137 on the 60 footer, so still not our fastest 60 foot, but we're into the 1.3s again, which is great. 564 to half track, which is the fastest this has ever been to half track, and 126 mile an hour, which is the fastest speed at half track. So, a lot of PBs there on that time slip. Now we're going to go do it again, but faster, because I've just turned up the launch to all the way. Alright, let's see how we finish the night. Another 870, so that's not too bad. It didn't beat the other run, quicker 60 foot, but I think it just had too much heat in it, but still, it's not a bad finish to the night. Alright, let's go wrap this up. Well, what a way to finish the day. Back to back, 870s, new PB for the Mazda. It's pretty awesome. I would have liked to have gone a little bit faster on the last pass. Unfortunately, because we hot lapped it, the car was a little bit warmer, everything was hotter, so therefore it didn't make quite as much power as it should have, and therefore ran 159.8 instead of 160.7. And yeah, 872 was my fastest, 877 was the last one, both with 1.3 60 foot times, 1.37 and 1.36. So half tracks both in the 5.6s. So, you know, it's a good way to finish the day, especially with the day we've had. You know, it started off with that nice, easy half track run that should have breezed in an 8-second pass, but I backed out of it. That could have been an 8, or it could have been the start of our problems. Who knows? And then we had 3 runs where it just kept blowing that boost line over and over and over again. So now we fixed that, and the car makes boost, it makes power, it runs 870s consistently. That's pretty awesome. Where we go from here, I have no bloody idea, gotta say. But whatever we do, you'll see on a future episode of Carnage.